cozy friends, and happy cast on day. It is September 1st here in Australia. Not quite yet in other countries, but I am living in the future and so excited to get started on the Salty Days knit along. If you missed my knit along announcement video, I will have it linked in the description. It's not too late to start, and that video has all the details you need to know how to participate. But we are going to be knitting the Salty Days sweater by Kutovakika from September 1st to November 30th. But those dates are very flexible. There are people that had started before and put their projects on hold so that they could join. And there are people that are still waiting on ordering their yarn and hoping to join us soon. It's really more about the experience of getting to share the journey of knitting the same project together and helping each other learn along the way, as well as make lots of new knitting friends. If you do want to participate, make sure you are following and subscribed to both myself and Haley from Haley's Space, as we are both hosting this knit along. And make sure to share your cast on as well as your works in progress on the Salty Days KAL hashtag if you have an Instagram, so that we can all see each other's projects and cheer each other on, as well as get inspired by all the beautiful colors. So I have seen so many of your gauge swatches in such beautiful colors that I literally want to knit 100 of these sweaters, but it's really inspiring me for future projects. Speaking of, we are honestly just so shocked about how many of you are joining this knit along. I genuinely thought that there would be like 20 to 30 of us knitting this sweater, and there are about 150 people in our group. It has been making my day to see all of your gauge swatches and your yarn shopping selections, and I absolutely can't wait to start seeing the cast-ons roll in. I also find it so inspiring that so many of you seem to be beginner knitters or beginner sweater knitters. I also went really big and challenging with some of my first projects. My first knitting project was the folklore cardigan by Lion Brand, and it was so complicated. I'm amazed that I was able to do that, looking back, especially with all that I know now. But it is doable, and honestly, anytime I come upon a challenge in a pattern, I just look it up. I look up the stitch pattern, or I look up a tutorial on how to do the stitch, and if I mess up, I just frogged back and did it again. And I think that that's the most beautiful thing about being a beginner, is you just have to embrace the mistakes, because the mistakes are how you learn. Every new skill you learn is a new technique to add to your arsenal, and it's such an important thing to embrace, is being new at this and figuring it out along the way. I am going to be knitting my Salty Days sweater in knitpicks Heatherly worsted weight yarn in the color Sea Glass. It is a beautiful coastal blue color. It's giving me sea foam, and I'm absolutely obsessed with it. It's so squishy and soft. It is an 80/20 acrylic merino blend. I have it wound up into a cake here, and I have swatched from this not once but twice. Here are my swatches. One of them is on a 5mm or US 8 needle. It would have ended up being small if I went with this, but I had stretched my gauge out enough to make it feel like it was on gauge at first. And then I watched Good Knit's knitting podcast of her working on her Salty Days sweater, and she said that she stretched out her swatch when she measured, and so her sweater ended up too small. And I was like, gotcha, I'm gonna learn from your mistake. Let me try sizing up to a 5.5mm needle and swatching with that. And it looks so much better. It's just way more even, and the gauge was perfect, both pre-block and post-block. So I am a lot more confident knitting this sweater in my 5.5mm needles rather than the suggested 5mm. However, I just shared on Instagram my reel of unboxing my beautiful new copper knitting needles by Leica or Luca. I don't remember how they say their brand name. But as you saw, my 5mm needles have already been put on another whip that I have not revealed yet. I'm going to be talking about it in my upcoming knitting podcast, so if that's already out by the time this video goes up, I'll have it linked in the description, but if not, subscribe and stay tuned for my next knitting podcast episode. So I'm going to be using my wooden knitting needles from knitpicks, and these are what I've been using for a while now, and I absolutely do love this set, but I really wanted to invest in some nice metal needles. I feel like with my wooden needles, I don't have enough glide, But I think for a lace knitting project, it'll be helpful to not have too much glide because you're gonna have yarn overs on that project and you don't want them slipping off as you work the next stitch. I am going to be knitting a size medium. I have a bust of 100 centimeters and I'm going to be knitting the size medium, which will give me about 23 centimeters of positive ease if I knit on gauge, which I am. And I believe I will have the same amount of positive ease that Kika has in her sample photos. So I'm really happy with that choice and really excited to start working on this project. But without any further ado, I am so excited to cast on the Salty Days sweater. Grab your yarn, grab your needles. I hope you are working on the Salty Days with me. But if not, let me know down below, what are you working on while watching this video? And I hope you enjoy unraveling with me. It is time for a salty update. I am now midway through the diamond on the Salty Days sweater back yoke. I'm so excited to be knitting lace this is probably my second time knitting lace, but it is going quite well. I am starting to learn how to read my knitting. I'm only a couple rows into the diamond repeat and I've been watching Kika's tutorial as I go to make sure I catch any tips and tricks she has to share. I will make sure to have her tutorial linked below. If you are a beginner knitter, I highly recommend that you not only study this video beforehand, but watch again as you go for each section. She has such a wealth of knowledge and experience to share when it comes to knitting, and obviously she is the designer of this sweater, so she knows best how it is to be knit. We all have different techniques and ways we hold and tension our yarn, so everything will change from project to project and from person to person, but it is so helpful to have someone to hold your hand along the way. This pattern is honestly addictive. I could not put it down during this ribbing portion. I just kept wanting to work on it. And now it's going to be so potato chippy to like get little sections of lace work or cable work. And I can't wait to pick up for the front and start to see the sizing come together. But as of right now, it's looking quite like it's going to be oversized and cozy. The yarn is so squishy. I'm having a great time knitting it, and I hope all of you are as well. It has been bringing me such joy to see all of your cast-ons and getting to chat in the group about all the things we are learning along the way. Before cast-on day, I even sent a message to everyone in the chat and said, make sure you go through your pattern, whether it's on your Files app on your iPhone or if it's on your physical document, and highlight every instruction in your size or cross out the sections that aren't for your size. And I thought I did that, but I still made the mistake of following the instructions for a section that says only size small and large. So I did have to unravel a couple rows. I actually ended up just tinking back because unraveling when you have increased rows is really stressful. I figured if I put in a lifeline, I'd probably miss an increase or something. So I tinked back 3 rows that I had unnecessarily added on, and then I was back off to the races. It's coming along beautifully. I'm having a great time, and I'm loving sharing the journey of this project with you guys. A bit later, and I am about to do the eyelets on the back panel, and then I will be all done with the back yoke and I'll be ready to pick up my sleeve stitches and start working on the front shoulders. This pattern is so addictive, and I actually just can't believe how quickly it's working up. So many people in the chat are like already on the shoulders. It's actually crazy because we've only been working on this for like a day now. But I'm having so much fun, and it's bringing me so much joy to share in this journey with you guys. So I am going to put in my headphones and listen to my audiobook. I am 54% of the way through The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. It is book 2 in the Mistborn series, and I'm really enjoying it. So I'm going to get to knitting and listening to my book. Hi friends, time for a bit of a Tuesday update. I am here with my second cup of coffee, my salty days, my son's asleep, my dryer is paused, and I am ready to tell you how far I have gotten. So I have been obsessively working on this project, as are many of us in the chat. We seem to not be able to put it down because it is just so addictive. Last night I was able to work both of the front shoulders, and then first thing this morning I actually cast on the stitches for the neckline, and I've done a few rows back and forth since then. I do think I'm gonna have to slow down my pace of working on this, but we have been watching so much Moana in this house so that mommy can get her knitting time in. I think spring completely faked us out a couple weeks ago because it has been so chilly and windy. That is why I'm all bundled up. But I'm sure for many of you, it completely makes sense because you guys are going into fall. It's actually probably like 90 degrees there, but the fall vibes are fall vibing. And here the spring vibes are spring vibing, but the weather is not quite yet. But I'm loving working with this very springy, summery color and manifesting all of these coastal vibes. My husband actually booked our Airbnb at the coast this month for my birthday. We are going to be going somewhere between Bateman's Bay and Malua Bay. We have an Airbnb that's like kind of up on a mountain so that you can kind of see over the cliffside of the coast. It looks so beautiful in the photos, and we have never been to the Australian coast. We are aware it's probably going to be a little too cold to swim at this point of the year, but we are just so eager to take some scenic drives, maybe shop around a little bit, and obviously walk the shores. I really wish I'd be able to wear my salty days, but I'm so excited to go and get some lovely photos of my work in progress on the beach and also get to work on it there, as well as just enjoy the beautiful views of the other side of the world. I am on my second hank now. I just on this past row had to add on my new ball, and I'm honestly very thankful to be on a new ball because the last one was wound very loosely and started to completely fall apart. I wound it before I got my umbrella Swift, so I was kind of doing it manually, wrapped around the back of my chairs, and it was just super loose and fell apart and was getting tangled every row I worked. So that was really frustrating, and I didn't want anything slowing down my knitting because I'm just so obsessed right now. But I think it is coming along so beautifully. I'm really happy with this shoulder eyelet detail, as well as these beautiful diamonds. I definitely had to tink back a couple of the rows on my lace work as I was going because I was losing count of my stitches, but I'm very proud to say that I'm starting to learn how to read my lace work. I think one of my favorite things is being able to read my knitting when I'm knitting cables, and it makes me a lot more confident to be able to follow a chart when I'm able to read the rows below. And I'm starting to figure that out with the diamond pattern. So I feel like I will really enjoy the rest of this pattern now that I've gotten a bit of an understanding for how the diamond lace works up. Again, this is only my second lacework project, so I'm pretty excited to be able to even do this. When I showed my husband, he was actually shocked because he didn't realize that was going to be there, and he's never seen me knit lace before. So I really liked that I was able to surprise him with something new. But to be honest, I feel like I'm always doing something new with my knitting. I'm really loving the drop shoulder, and I feel like this is going to be quite oversized on me, which I do love, and I'm hoping that it will be. I think I could probably try it on right now as it is, but I won't be able to tell that much from it. Once I am able to join the work in the round, I think trying it on will offer a lot more information about whether or not it's going to be oversized. But I'm just so happy with how it's working up. I think about this project first thing when I wake up and can't wait to knit on it. So that's a really good sign. I think it's working up so quickly because it is like a worsted weight sweater pattern. But with it being like lace detailing, I totally thought that it would take so much more time to do these little sections, but because they are so small, I think they do work up quite quickly as well. And it's just such a fun project to be doing with a bunch of other knitters because we are progressing through it so quickly. But I haven't eaten lunch yet, and like I said, this is my second cup of coffee, so I should probably eat some lunch and then I'll get back to knitting and keep sharing my updates. Hi friends, it is now Thursday and the last time I updated you was on Tuesday, and I really haven't touched my salty that much since then. I did a little bit yesterday, but I've been under the weather. I really just want to take care of myself and like take it slow when I need to, and I don't want to lose the love I have for this project and enjoy the process. On Tuesday, I was able to put on the neckline and work the diamond repeat on the front panel. And then yesterday I was able to get joined in the round, but only just. I joined in and did a couple rows, and now I'm going to be on the cable part of the pattern, but I only just did my first crossing, and like I said, I just don't have the brain power right now to be working on this. And that is valid, so I'm allowing myself to rest. Yesterday, during my son's nap, I literally fell asleep getting him to sleep and woke up still holding him, and he was napping for a really long time. So it was really nice to have a cozy little nap together. I really needed it. Our first Zoom call is going to be on Sunday here in Australia, but Saturday in the rest of the world. I really intended to film my knitting podcast this week during one of my son's naps, but like I said, I just haven't felt good enough. So my video for this weekend will probably be this vlog, and then next week you can expect my next episode of the knitting podcast. And it has a lot of fun projects to show you. Like I said, I have a secret whip that I haven't shared yet, and I can't wait to show you guys. But I will update you when I've worked on the salty days some more. friends, and happy Sunday. It is the end of week 1 of working on my Salty Days sweater. I have been so obsessed with this pattern. I feel like I just can't put it down. But I am on the second diamond lace repeat. I am on the infamous row 5 of chart C that is supposed to cause a lot of problems. So that's what I'm going to be working on after filming this clip and editing this vlog, and I'm not looking forward to that because it has caused so many people to have to like frog this entire section. So hopefully it goes well for me, because there have been pioneers of this group chat that have offered their solutions for how they handled this row because they reached this part before me. So hopefully I will be able to manage. This morning we had our Zoom knitting party, and it was so nice to put faces to names and meet everyone and knit together to share our progress and share our trials and tribulations with this pattern so far, and also share all of our cute pets. I haven't sat and talked to the camera in a few days, but as you can see, we've been spending a lot of time outdoors. The spring is finally springing. I'm hoping that the trees start to get a little more green on them. And so we've been spending a lot of time outdoors. My son's been playing out here. I've been knitting out here. And yesterday, Mickey came over and we knit together. We also went to a couple yarn stores. I bought a lot of yarn, so I will definitely be needing to do a whole yarn haul very soon. And I can't wait to tell you guys all of my plans for those projects. I have a lot of fun spring knits coming up because it is warmer down here in Australia right now, or starting to warm up. But it was just so much fun to get to yarn shop and knit together and get to do that Zoom knitting party this morning. Thank you so much to everyone who is joining the Salty Days knit along. But as for a week 1 vlog, I think I am going to wrap it up right here, and let me know down below if you are participating, how it's going for you, and if you are not, let me know what you are working on while watching this video. Don't forget to do something this week that helps you unravel, and I will be wishing you a very cozy week.